That was going on as far as, everybody wanting to converse about Ice Cube situation, and they're not actually talking about the point that he's making. And there's other topics correlating with voting that I wanted to get into as well. Of course, my other documentaries are already talking about that. Part 2's coming. I believe there might be a part 3 to part 2. It depends, because I'm adjusting that video right now. Once I adjust that video, then I'm gonna release it. I just wanted to fix something up really quick before I release it. Then I'm gonna release that one to the black vote. A lot of people think that their vote counts, and I'm still trying to understand how. What makes you think that your vote counts when you can't right now name any president in history that has done anything for our people in general? And I'm not talking about just handing us a check, like for example, here's another example. Every single president know that we are going through, for example, this is just an example, that we are going through a form of police brutality year after year after year, and nothing changes. Nothing. And it doesn't matter the president. It doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. Like, what do you think is going on here? Like, what makes y'all think that they're actually going to do something for us? And I have to stress this issue, but I do like some of the things. Like I said, with Ice Cube's situation, as far as his plan, from what I've read, reminds me of ADOS a lot. Like I said before, I wasn't disagreeing with ADOS. I just felt as though it needed to be adjusted. And same thing with Ice Cube's plan. It does need to be adjusted. It's a few things, but what I like about what he said is that he's open to more ideas being presented for the plan. And I like the fact that he's saying that this is not a Democrat or Republican thing. He just wanted to try his hand with, letting both sides know, look, man, we tired of y'all being paid high dollar off of the labor of us and our ancestors. So he's acknowledging it all. And I appreciate that. I really do. I really do appreciate that. And anybody calling him a coon, unsubscribe from my channel. He's not a coon. He's actually doing the right thing. He's not on neither side of the political spectrum. So basically that means he's coming in independent with a plan that he and a lot of other people that I will be going into in the real live stream that he came up with an authentic plan. It's not fully completed. It's one page, but it's pretty good. It's very good. And I'm gonna repeat this again. If you think that Ice Cube is a coon and you listening to me right now, unsubscribe from my channel. I don't want you here. You're on the wrong side. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You're on the wrong side, and I ain't to be played with. I know what he's doing, and I can tell when somebody's legit. I can tell when somebody legit. Now, DL Hughley, he getting paid. All them people that's coming up that so-called black, that's coming against Cube, they getting paid. Clearly. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But yeah, Cube doing the right thing. He is. He's doing the right thing. And basically that's stuff. And I've been saying this for years. Okay? Now, I'm not looking for any credit, but I've been saying this for years. What I've been saying is that we do need to start the dialogue. We do need to start the dialogue. Because it should be, okay, for example, it should be this way. It should be this or else. Now, if they do not acknowledge that everybody knows about Ice Cube's plan, if you haven't read it, read it. If it doesn't get acknowledged by the president, whoever the president is going to be. That should force you to do it on your own now. Because I'm going to tell you right now, my side of the story is we don't need this government. And what I mean by that is we don't need their approval to govern ourselves. We don't need to join any political party to get things done for us. Now, if anything, the government can back away. Okay? Just step to the side. Don't get in our way of trying to make things happen for ourselves. Once again, if Ice Cube's plan fails, that should make every single person that shares the same hue of complexion as me know. That should automatically let you know that you now have to do it on your own. Come out of that Democrat Party, come out of that Republican Party. Yeah, we know, our ancestors used to be the Republicans in the 1870s and 1880s. But by the time the 1890s came up, they pulled the plug. Who was they? The government pulled the plug. We had congressmen, just like similar to what we have right now, but we had a great deal of brown complexioned people as congressmen in the United States government, 1870s, 1880s. Look at what happened. Now, here's the thing. Matter of fact, let me say this to y'all really quick. Think about this for a second now. When was the Voting Rights Act? Now, I want y'all to think about this time period. When was the Voting Rights Act? Then once you figure out that date, and you state it, I'm waiting for somebody to say it in the chat. Because as soon as you say that date, I want you to think about how did our ancestors become congressmen prior to the Voting Rights Act? How did our ancestors become congressmen and franchisers in all of the southern states here prior to the Voting Rights Act? That's right, the Voting Rights Act was 65. So, once again, 1965. Right? How did our ancestors become congressmen prior to having the right to vote? Listen to that, guys. This is what I was pointing out in these most recent videos. And then the question that I brought back to my viewers was, who are the franchisers and who are the franchisees? For those researchers out there, research every single thing I put in part 1. I dare you. Soon as you do it, you're going to find that answer. And you're also going to have the answer to why our ancestors were in office as congressmen. 1870s, I'm going to say this again, 1870s, 1880s, and all of a sudden, 1890s is when they implemented white supremacy, that bull crap, and literacy tests. It was those colleges wasn't even called HBCUs then. So wait a minute, did those congressmen have degrees? Wait, did those congressmen in the 1870s and 1880s have to take literacy tests in order to become a congressman for the United States of America? No. No. And I want my people to understand that. So that means that, yeah, we were prospering. We were going ham. And somebody lied at the top of the 1900s and called it the Great Depression. What was the Great Depression? See, if you try to Google that now, they'll give you graphics galore, but are they really showing you how? Somebody lying. Somebody is lying. How come we had mayors, governors, senators, congressmen, representatives of each state in the South and the North? Prior to the vote, prior to so-called black people allegedly having the right to vote, a whole nother 100 years later. I dare you to ask any president, anybody that's running for any political position. Ask them that question. They're hiding something. And I'm going to point it out. Part 2 is going to be pointing out, I'm not going to give it away, but I'm just going to state a little bit. Part 2, I'm going to be exposing the infiltrators. What led us to wanting, okay, hold on, oh, this is a very good question. What led us during the civil rights era, during that era, right? What led us to go run to the polls to vote? And then that's one question. And then the second question is, who were they voting for? Keep in mind, we had a lot of people during that time period that was of colleges and universities that created organizations that were committees. That's a good word. They were committees. Small groups of so-called black people got together and created organizations like SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Dr. Martin Luther King was the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, conference. I'm right. And keep in mind that Dr. King's focus was gaining human rights. And then all of a sudden, things changed. And people started pulling him to try to influence our people to go and vote. But see, the question is, to go and vote for what? And to go and vote for who? Now, if you also notice, a lot of those people that were running those organizations, I'm gonna say a few of those people that ran those organizations that you saw coming about during the 1960s. It was a lot of them, not just the SCLC and SNCC and CORE, and it was a few of them. But just think about it. A lot of them became politicians in more way than one. Right? Am I right or wrong? So was the vote for them or for the liberation of our people? Uh-oh. And how does that make sense during a time period where you're fighting against police brutality? During the 1960s, you take these college students, by the way, they had money to go to college, so that means they came up in a middle-class society, not necessarily growing up, to discover any racial divide. Not in their hindsight. Just like racism has to be taught, it works both ways. If they don't experience something, if they never experienced anything, how did they become educated on it? Listen to what I just said. These people that created, and I'm not going against our people in full. I just want you to know the infiltration. I come at everybody. I'm not here to make friends. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm not here to make friends. If I see you doing some fraud, I'm gonna call you out on it. Especially when I got records of your BS. So once again, the idea was to make sure that they detoured Martin Luther King from marching. His marches did stand for something, which was human rights. They detoured him away from that in order for people, in order for them to gather people to go register and vote. But once again, I'm gonna say this again, having all of those people who were poor, keep that in mind, who were poor, to go register and vote. For who? For what? Any political person during their campaign will feed you everything to your pain, anything that you're experiencing. Police brutality, environmental racism, okay? You name it, all the way down the list, you name it. They're going to pinpoint all of your pains in order to make it sound good, make it sound appealing. So you can run to them polls and let's go vote that person in. And once again, I dare anybody to tell me one person that changed anything for our benefit. Ever since 1776, not one thing has changed. We ain't got to go back and forth with these stories. We ain't got to go back and forth with nothing. These folks know what's going on. But you know what the problem is? Our people keep asking for things. Asking to be acknowledged. Asking to be accepted. Like, what happened? Okay, here's another example, right? Why were people led to desegregate schools that our people were not a part of? What was what was wrong with you going to the school that you were already involved in? Why did you have to go, let's just say, for example, I'm just, giving an example here, 20 miles down the road and go to an all-white school? Why'd you have to, why? Why? Oh, to show that, blacks should be in here too with these white, I don't understand. What was the point? If schools was there for both, what was the difference? Why did you have to see? Okay, here's a good question. When did segregation start? Was it segregated during the time period our ancestors were congressmen and congresswomen? Well, it was congressmen. It was all men. Congressmen? Did segregation exist during that time period? 1870s, 1880s. See, this is what I'm talking about. Look at how that changed. All of a sudden, you had an issue. You had a racial issue that came later. Notice I said came later. Because if there was a racial issue, then how did our ancestors become congressmen? 5 years after slavery was allegedly abolished. Everybody can recall Jim Crow and all the rest of this stuff. How did we get in office? How were we in office? If segregation, hold on, listen. If segregation existed, racism existed, if that all existed during that time period, how were our ancestors in office? Look, guys, y'all don't have to believe me. You can look this stuff up. That's what I want you to do. I dare you to look this stuff up. I dare you. I know it's people out there that's scared of me because they see how I'm talking now. I don't beat around the bush. I'ma tell it for how it is. Where in history? See, that's why it's so important for you to know your history. That's why. That's why. Because otherwise somebody could force feed you that bullshit and you gonna fall for it. All of a sudden, it became a racial problem. It wasn't a racial problem to begin with. Those foreigners were always faking as if they wanted to be our friends. So we didn't have, now, it was wars that happened. Yes, I'm not denying that. But was it a war over racial discrimination? Or was it a war because one party disagreed with another? Or one party came out of nowhere and the party that originally resided there like, who this? And said, let's go get them. Was there a racial issue then? Or see, for example, when you colonize a land, what are you doing? Because according to those records, they were never considered colonizers. The title was changed to colonizer by the mysterious writers of American history that you find here in the US. Everywhere else, like, huh? What? Colonizer? They called them settlers. They saw some land that may have been unoccupied and said, this might be safe to be here. Let's build up a little town and hopefully we could get good with the locals. Logical, right? But what you guys have to understand is what went wrong. There was a deal that was made between our people and the foreigners that were coming here. It took a very long time in order for the initial scheme that they were trying to do as far as foreigners are concerned, which was to take these lands over and claim it as theirs. But it took years. It took years to get that done because you're talking about millions and millions of people already residing here versus the sprinkle of people that came here at the top of the 1600s. So since history goes, they captured 20 and odd so-called Negroes, that they brought those 20 and now came 60 plus million so-called blacks here in America. How does that make sense? And then I exposed 400 years of slavery, and some of y'all think I'm making it up. No, they made up the 400 years of slavery, including your Bible. See? Remember, once again, the story says that the first African slaves arrived in Jamestown, Virginia, 1619. Not no 1400, 1500. Oh, the Spanish did this and the da-da-da-da. Nah, they said the Negroes ain't get here till 1619. See, rub their history right back in their face. That's how you know they lying. 1619 from what time period are you referring to with 400 years of slavery? With this government. And this government is only 244 years old. Once again, I'm not going to beat around no bush. I'm going to tell it like how it is. If you think I'm lying, good. Go look it up. But once again, I'm going to put out the documentaries while I'm in calm voice and I'm talking to you like this. In 1619, I'm going to talk just like that. I got my emotions in those videos too, but just not like this. This is the reason why I normally don't go live. But I'm going to break it down to you. Now, I didn't share videos to the ADOS people. I didn't share the videos with Ice Cube. I let them know that I got the paperwork. I have the research. Come get me. Come get me. Let's get some stuff done. I put out an offer out there to let lawyers know that we could. I'm not trying to sue the government for money, but I just want to sue the government to let them know that I know, and we all know who the slaves were now. It was the disenfranchised children. Very few adults. Listen to this, guys. Very few adults. The majority of the slaves were children. And I have the proof, and I will take it to that Supreme Court. And all I just want it documented. That's all I want. Because people need to see that. That was our children. Our ancestors were children. The reason why they used children, and I told you, what video was that? I just told you this. I gave you the records. I told you that they waited until the woman was 18 years old and the male was 21. It's documented. Listen to that. They waited till they were 18 and 21. I got videos of 8-year-olds saying that they working out in the field, picking cotton. In the 60s. See? That's the slavery. There you go. There you go. And the reason why these so-called franchisers were able to get away with it is because they hired children. And what I mean by hired is that they had to report it back to the government. So they just showed them the copies of their promissory notes. That's it. That's all it was, promissory notes. Because what type of money were you using in the 1800s? When the Federal Reserve notes ain't come to the 1900s. So were they buying these slaves or trading them? Y'all gotta understand that. See, that's what make it even deeper. It's our children. It was our children. It was our ancestors as children that they used. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. White folks also. White folks. Didn't you see? Go Google this right now. Go. I dare you to use Google this time. Use Google. Pull up them pictures of our beautiful black women, so-called black women. I gotta use that term because y'all keep using it. I can't stand it. It's a status, it's not a color. It's a status in this government, meaning you're dead. Huh. The status of white, meaning you're alive. They gonna keep you floating. We know it's a status because how are Ethiopians considered white? How are people darker than me, probably darker than you, considered white? By the census. That's how you know it's a status now. Dane Calloway ain't making that up. It's right in front of you. See? You chose to think it was about skin complexion this whole time. And they spend billions of dollars to keeping you thinking that it's a racial problem. It was never a racial problem. This is about right and wrong. And you think a politician gonna change the law when history says otherwise? No, Dane, Trump got our back, Dane. Trump, how? What, who? You said the same thing about Obama. You said the same thing about Obama because he shares the same skin complexion as you and I. And look what happened. Huh? What more do you need to see? I don't care if Joe Biden or Trump getting off. Whatever. It doesn't matter. What's going to change? They could talk that talk all day long. They ain't nothing but entertainers getting paid to waste your time. And what's crazy is that these same things that I keep bringing up was brought up during the 60s. But everybody was drifted to move in a different direction. As if voting is going to happen. Make some changes. No, we got to get the black people in there, y'all. Vote him. He black. Vote her. She black. How is that going to change something? How? When history says otherwise. Now, well, everybody can make a change. Okay, we're not talking about the individual. We're talking about the government. See? Let's stop putting it on Trump and stop putting it on Biden and put it where it need to be. It's the government. Whole Congress. Isn't that why our ancestors made these treaties with? Was it with a president or Congress? President don't make no moves here. If the president is in charge, there wouldn't be a governor in each state. Hold on. Let me calm down. I get upset sometimes. I gotta calm down. There's a lot of stuff that we need to talk about, though. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be brought onto the table that's not being talked about. And I know people are listening to me. I know people are watching. A few of them hit my inbox. I done talked to a few what you would call celebrities. There's some brothers and sisters trying to get it done. But like I said, once again, I like where Cube is going. I like it. Once again, I liked ADOS. I just wanted to make adjustments there. I'm not African. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And you calling yourself African, you may want to find that out before you start calling yourself African. Because the Africans I know what tribe they from. In Africa. They know what country they from. In Africa. They know who their ancestors are in Africa. No, but they remember they captured us from there. Who captured you from who? So you mean to tell me that some white folks all of a sudden know how to speak whatever African language you choose, decided to go over there and speak an African language and say, hey, look, hey, I break a deal with y'all. Let me capture your whole tribe and I'm gonna send you to a different land. Are you kidding me? You think they're gonna get, you think, how do you, what? Yeah, that's why I said white supremacy is an illusion. You giving them the power. What makes you, first of all, I dare anybody, professor at the I dare anybody to step out there and show me what took place in Africa for any white folk to capture Africans and safely leave Africa and work their way to South America. I dare you. Matter of fact, you welcomed on my platform. If you got proof, I pull up. I'm waiting for that. Pull up. I dare you. Pull up. We're gonna have to stop this. Everybody been lying, talking about, oh, we came from Africa. Who told you that? And that's where the problem is. And then we got people that were older than much. See, keep in mind, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and James Brown and all of those, Fred Hampton, Floyd McKissick. There's so many people that I can name. Though they were younger than 40. Okay? So you got to think about the time period then. Back then, technically, they were young adults. So just like how we use the term nigger, they used the term black. They flipped it because black was derogatory at that time. I'm going to expose that to you all too. At that time, the word black was derogatory. And then it got flipped by that younger generation at that time. The Martin Luther King, everybody got flipped by the college students. That's why a lot of those people were bumping heads with people like the Black Panther Party. A lot of people didn't want to join that. They didn't agree with the black part. That's why. That's real talk. I'm going to be, all this stuff that I'm saying right now, I'm going to put out. You're going to see this in video format. I'm going to let the people of that time period tell you what was going on. Because Dane Calloway ain't got no time to be making anything up. We don't have time as a people to be making anything up. See, think about that. The anonymous writers of U.S. history took time to make that story up. It didn't just happen overnight, right? Took time. So this is a lot of stuff that we have to change. A lot of stuff that we have to adjust. This is a lot of stuff that we have to talk about. We got a dialogue about this. Things have to get changed. And yeah, I could calm down and have a general conversation with somebody. It's not a problem. I don't want people, well, I'm not going to make no promises now. I'm probably going to be passionate. But I don't want you to get, discouraged by that. We can have a general conversation, okay? We can have a general conversation, but we got to take it from that conversation to the next step. To the very next step. Like what Cuba's doing. Cuba's actually going to these parties and seeing what's up. And whoever moved the fastest, he going with. I don't see nothing wrong with that. And if you do, get off my channel. Unsubscribe. If you think Ice Cube is a coon, get off my channel. Unsubscribe. You in the wrong place. He's doing the right thing. Not only is he doing it for our people, he's also doing it for himself because he was curious. Once he saw George Floyd and all this police brutality happening, somebody just got killed last night in Philadelphia, or was it today, by 2 police officers. They said this guy had a knife, but come to find out, he was walking towards his mother, wrapping around the car, coming from out of the street where he was located, facing the police officers, dropped his knife, hit the corner, was trying to adjust his hair to talk to the police officers. He was upset, so it did look like he was charging at them, but that still doesn't give them the right to start shooting at him. I mean, because even if you acknowledge, let's just say, for example, that he still continued to have that knife on him, that's not life-threatening to the point where you have to pull out a gun to kill him. I mean, and they shot him multiple execution style. And that's why I feel Cube, because the only reason why that's still happening is because, number one, the president can't do anything about it. Number one, it's been multiple. We can name so many people that have lost their lives due to police brutality, and not one president budged. Now that Trump ain't do a tweet, Obama ain't sent a matter of fact, Obama, hold on, what was that video? I do remember one time Obama shedded a few tears on national television saying that it ain't right. And then right after that, he ain't do nothing. That just goes to show you how much power a president really has. They can't do anything. So what's the point of wasting our time with him? But once again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with Cube is doing. There's nothing wrong with trying to see for yourself, to see what's going to happen. Now, when both sides make up their own crap and take bits and pieces out of his plan, and try to throw it into their little plan, oh, this is what we gonna do for black folk. Now, how long are you willing to wait to see if that plan is actually gonna become a reality where it just benefit only so-called black people? How long are you willing to wait? Because according to everybody else that died from police brutality, they ain't even have a chance to live the rest of their life. They didn't even have time enough to catch their breath to say anything. Most of those men that were killed and women that were killed by police were unarmed. See, if you would ask me, Dane, why is that going on? You know what I'm going to point to? The black codes of 1865. I keep saying this each and every time. There's no law, there's no form of legislation, none, that overrides the black codes of 1865. They are still in effect. That's why, and look, in the black codes of 1865, each state created their own. Now, that's besides the Christian codes. We ain't talking about the segregation laws, aka Jim Crow laws. We ain't talking about the Christian slave codes neither. I said black codes of 1865. Did ADOS mention that? Did anybody in any political congregation, did anybody mention at all, one time, black codes of 1865? One time, just one time. And don't act like you can't find it, because I done found plenty and put it on screen. Plenty. Read it verbatim, quoted it. So don't give me no BS. I know what's going on. And it's happening year after year, after president, after politician. Once again, it doesn't matter who you put in office when this government is working against you. This government is not for us and never has been. This government was copied from our ancestors and their previous government. directly. And they made sure that it benefited them only. Who was them, Dane? Incoming foreigners, squatters. They ain't had no business here. That's how you know it wasn't that many adults coming until way later, because the few adults that came got killed, to put it in plain and simple terms. So what's the next best thing they could do? They sent their children. And you know how our people are, especially our beautiful women, when they see a child, especially when they already a mother. Remember the saying, it takes a village to raise a child? And our ancestors welcomed them squatters on our lands because they were children. They got adopted, grew up. I'm Dane Calloway, not making this up. I can't wait until I cannot wait until more and more of our people wake up. Because this coffee smells real good. Don't let it get cold. It's sitting on the table waiting for you. Go ahead, go smell it. It's Colombia. See? But yeah, this was a test stream. Y'all know how I am when I start talking. But this was a test stream. When I come back again, videos, pictures, screenshots of records, we're gonna jump. I'm gonna break down his plan. I'm gonna break it down. I like his responses. I like how he don't play no games. I like that. That's very good. And y'all should be coming after those people that come after him. Because look, matter of fact, this is what it is. Anybody that come after Ice Cube of what he's doing, and they coming at him sideways, that's your enemy. Clearly, that's your enemy. Clearly. Especially if you want something done for us, like how I do. If they against what Cube is doing, his proposed plan, y'all, this ain't even law. This is a proposition. This is not even law. And they giving him all this flack? That's how you know it's major. So yeah, I'm behind my brother, 100%. I'm behind him. Once again, I'm not here to make friends. I'm not. I'm here for the liberation of our people. That's why I'm here. I don't care if you Pan-African, Hebrew, Israelite, Christian, Moor, it doesn't matter. Muslim, it doesn't matter. If you for the liberation of our people, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, sister. I'm with you. It's not about what you personally believe in. It's about what you know is wrong and what you know is right. And it's a lot of things that I can easily point out that's wrong. So that means that it's going to take a much bigger effort from all of us, a collaborative effort, in order to make things right. It's gonna happen though. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. Period. It's gonna happen. This should be the last straw. This should be the last straw. Let this Ice Cube plan. I'm telling you, if they brush this over, this should be the last straw. Everybody should focus on themselves without the need of a government. Well, without the need of this foreign government. Keep in mind, this is a foreign government. So, I'm honestly, I don't want to wait. But if y'all want to do that, fine. Fine. See if it works. If it don't, here's the other plan. Here's the other plan. See? The only thing that's stopping us is us. We could be governing ourselves. We could create our own businesses. We could control our own banks. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new. Let's just do this again. Yeah, they did stop some of the so-called Negro Wall Streets at the top of the 1900s. Whoa, that was in the middle, almost in the middle. 1920s and beyond. But who said we can't do that again? In each state. In each state. And see, and that's another thing. And those Jews back then, they saw that. They saw that. They saw that we were the owners of these banks and businesses during that time period. So they said, nah, we got to get good with them. Dane, how you know that? I already gave you the book. African Americans and American Jews. African Americans and American Jews. Get that book. It's telling you the relationship between the so-called African Americans. Actually, that was before it was changed to say African Americans and American Jews. It was saying the Negroes and the American Jews. So, I mean, but still, regardless, they didn't really take a lot of things out. You'll be able to see, you know, how that development came about as far as how some of these organizations came about as far as politically and what their agendas were and how it transitioned from our ancestors being the chairman and the CEOs of these particular banks that you're probably used to seeing right now into becoming and into laying them off to the incoming Jews that wanted to do business with them. And don't get it twisted. There's some good and bad in every race, okay? Now, I do know for a fact that I'm usually pointing out a lot of Jews that taught us a lot of this bad sociology, the BS, bad sociology that just so happened to be accumulated into what is known now as American history, okay? Yes, that was a lot of Jews. In fact, it still is to this day. We see what's going on. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, guys. So yes, there is some bad ones. All right, just like it's some bad ones of us that helped them. That helped them because they didn't do this on their own. That's why I said stop saying white supremacy as if it exists. When that plug can easily be pulled from the wall. Easily. Ain't no, and look, and don't allow them to make, because see, every time you say white supremacy, you're making yourself inferior. Immediately, that's a negative affirmation. You got to stop saying that. Just like black. These negative affirmations have to be eliminated from our vocabulary, especially when we're talking about liberating our people. That has to be, you know, some form of spiritual climb in there. We got to have some spirituality in there, guys. Like, we can't just sit up there and just fly out of our mouth and don't think that, yeah, that could possibly bring negativity back. You got to be careful with what you're saying. You got to be careful with the choice of words you're using. Because as soon as you say black, you're calling yourself dead. Especially towards this government. They don't know who you are. There's no legislation claiming that you're black. None. So, I'm going to end it right there. We're going to do this again. I am going to pop up. I'm going to pop up a door. I don't know. I might make an announcement. We'll see. But I'm most likely I'm going to pop up. And I'm glad that everything is working. You guys are, you guys can hear me and I can see the chat very well. I'm just so glad that everything is working out, because when I get this done, I'm probably going to do it just one time, especially dealing with this vote. Now, everything else as far as what I talked about, as far as the correlating topics, of course, I'm going to elaborate more on it during the documentaries and probably the live streams to come, especially the Easter egg Sundays. That's another thing, guys. I pushed some Easter egg Sundays I already had completed. I pushed them back because of this. I want to stay right here because I'm noticing a lot of people are just regurgitating what they heard from somebody. They're not necessarily going to educate themselves to go look up this information to see if it has any truth to stand on. And if you don't, then you're more liable to be manipulated into believing something versus you actually knowing. And that way I can't trust you. And that's the reason why I like what Ice Cube did. Ice Cube said, nah, hold up, something wrong. And he went to go do the research for himself. And then he hired people that were, a little bit educated, that might have, be well-versed in researching, in which I would love to get on that research team. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Cube, if you hear me, call me. I will go crazy with this research. I could guarantee you I could triple your research. Guaranteed. Right now. Guaranteed. I have these records. We will have a ball getting this stuff done. And that's what I want. And if it's another organization, look, y'all, I'm not trying to join no organization. I don't want to be down with now, but I do want to play the background, and I would love to provide these documents to these people that's actually trying to get things done. I'm for that. And I don't want you guys to be afraid of me. I'm here. That's what I'm here for. Come on, contact me. Let's get this stuff done. What are we waiting for? Let's get this stuff done. And we shouldn't be the only ones doing it. It should be everybody pitching in, putting in there, pitching in everything that they are well versed in. Why not? Why not? Pull all of our resources together. Let's get this done, because we can do it. Yes, we can. And we don't need no Biden. We don't need no Trump. We don't need this government in order for us to do it. Period. I'm going to leave on that mark. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for the donations as well. Oh my goodness. Sister Laney. See, sister, you've been there since almost day one, and I really appreciate you, sister. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that was watching, that clicked like, that clicked share, that tried to post it on Facebook. Y'all know Facebook got me blocked, but even if you try, just try. Just try. I know how they are. I see YouTube doing similar things, and Twitter, everybody, I guess they want to calm the truthers down while they attempt to get people's vote, attempt to get people's attention on, hey, look, guys, I'm the big influencer and I want you to go get a vaccine, and all this stupidity that you about to see probably popping up. Cancel. We don't want none of that for real. But anyway, yeah, let me get up out of here because I will keep going. Let me get up out of here. Very soon, you're going to see part 2 pop up to the black vote. One more. I'm not even going to mention that one, and the one that I'm working on with my wife, and then the Easter egg Sundays. In between that, I'm going to be live streaming. I'm definitely going to be live streaming. So I'll see you all shortly. You all take care. Have a good evening. Stay blessed, stay positive with anything. Even though it's negativity all around you, that don't mean that your realm is filled with negativity. Just because it's around you, that don't mean it's you. Cancel all that away from you. Stay positive. Stay positive. Keep your head up. I love y'all. Why don't?